Hi there boys and girls, it's Alex for PokerDiaries.net. Today I'm gonna play one short half-an-hour session on iPoker Network. This is the games I usually play, so I have a lot of stats on the players, notes on the players, I know who I'm playing against. So we're gonna have much more info that's gonna make the video more interesting than the previous Zoom videos where we are playing only some like basic moves without enough info on the players we are playing against. So here we are on the 4 tables. I usually play 6 or 8 tables, but for the purpose of video I'm just playing 4 tables here so I can explain more while we are playing. Here we have a already interesting hand against this guy. Let's see how much is he bluffing. So when he bets half of the pot, he does not have it on the river, but this is still a really scary board for our pair of jacks. But I think we still have to call against this weaker opponent. And this time we have info on him that he is bluffing when he bets half of the pot on the river. So that's the reason I decided to call here. And if I had a different info that he is value betting with a strong hand, half of the pot, then I would just fold this hand. So on this table we have this really weak opponent, 76-22, and also we have a few strong opponents, regulars. We have 4 regulars on this table, so it's all really important to pay attention who are we playing against, gather all the info we have. On the upper right table we have 5 regulars. One of them is a weaker regular. These guys that I label blue are like semi-fish guys or some weaker regulars, and guys who are yellow are good regulars, and this like orange guys are maybe semi-good regulars, something like that. So I have a lot of different notes for different types of players. These purple guys are super fishy, and the green guys a little better than them, but you see like this green guy is still playing 51-0, so he's not raising at all, he's super passive, and he's playing 50% of hands. We're gonna try to pay attention to all these details while we are playing. Let's see how is this session going. So this session we are more than 500 hands into the session, and at this moment we are winning $13. That's it. So maybe I could even isolate him with a king 8, but maybe it's a slightly too loose. Maybe king 9 or king 10 would be more better to do that. With the weaker opponents, I will always try to isolate them, play against them in position, value bet them wider if they are folding enough, value bet them tighter if they are never folding. So always trying to play according to player, not based on some feeling or some guidelines against all players. So I will always try to approach every player differently. So let's see how much is this guy free betting. At this moment he free bet 23% of time, but we only have 45 hands on him. So with our tens we cannot call here because we are keeping this guy in the hand also. We can try to 4-bet here, and unfortunately we would have to fold to a 5-bet if he opts for a 5-bet, because we're not expecting him to shove there like a pair of 7s. But when this guy calls, it's super strange situation. This guy probably has a pair of jacks or some like ace queen suited or some really strong hand when he just calls, or maybe he's even slow playing a hand like aces or kings, so he's hoping this other guy shoves. So unfortunately we have to lose our hand here and release our tens, but we will gather info like of course if this guy calls we're gonna gather info what hands they are using and why. So this guy folds. He probably had like something like ace queen suited probably. I cannot be sure, of course, but that's how it looks like. Maybe we were flipping against this guy if he had ace king, but of course we cannot be sure about that. Here we have a pair. We have a set of fives, so obviously really strong hand. Gonna check raise here if he bets, and against the fish, we're gonna try to extract the maximum value we can. When he checks back, he has some showdown value, so we have to value bet ourselves here on the turn. And against this big guy, we're gonna value bet here for almost a whole pot. Here with a flush on the flop against the weak opponent, we're gonna let him barrel off. So we are always good here. He would bet straight on the flop if he had a straight. Now he has a king or a flush draw, so we're gonna charge him his draws here. And of course we're gonna raise here with our king high flush draw. He calls, he had a pair of deuces. If I knew he had such a strong holding, I could even value bet bigger here. But I was expecting him to have only like a weak pair, or even maybe weaker flush than we have. Here when this fishy guy limps, we're gonna isolate him with a king 8, so we're gonna remove the reg from the hand and play only against him. Let's see how much is he folding. So he's not folding at all, so I cannot make a continuation bet here, since I'm not expecting many folds. But I'm still gonna call him one street with my king high here. Sometimes I'm good with this king high, and when he checks back, he's afraid of ace. Maybe he has a 10, and we are giving him opportunity to bluff us if he has a 10. Let's see. So he's again betting half of the pot. That means he's usually do not have a strong hand when he bets half of the pot. So we're gonna make one enthusiastic call here with our king high. This situation he has a 10, but I think he would do the same with any random holdings. Of course, I would not suggest to call often with a king 8 high like we did in this situation, but sometimes it makes sense. So we are against the super tight regular, but who do not like to fold. So if he calls us on the flop, we're just gonna check fold the turn if we do not spike free. But when he folds, it's obviously a great outcome to take the hand down with our 5 high. Here against the same guy who is sitting here, so he's super tight, 21-11. Let's see what is he doing. So he is rarely free betting from the big blind against the small blind. So if he opts to free bet here, I'm just gonna release against the tight regulars. I'm gonna play really straightforward, not try to bluff them if they do not like to fold. And when they show some strength, I'm gonna release easily. There are not many tough regulars on NL20. All tough regulars are playing higher. They're playing NL50 or NL100. But still, we have to give them some respect if they play strong hands. I do not try to mess them a lot. This guy limps, so our ace-9 suited is usually good enough to raise here. And we have this crazy guy going all in for 6 euros. Okay, guy. We're not gonna call down our ace-jack here for 6 euros. have no idea what is he doing this with, but we are not sticking there to try to find out. We have a pair of sixes, but this is obviously a terrible board since there are a lot of draws here. We are out of position. We don't hope to check it down and to get to the showdown if it's possible, but when he shoves again, we just have to fold our pair of sixes. It looks like he's using this strange shoves for a bluff, but I can't be sure. I hope somebody will call him down so I have some more info. Well, from the button I'm opening really wide. So like any suited cards will do it. Let's see if we can 4-bet against this guy. So from the big blind against the button, he is free betting only 5% of hands. So that's really tight. We're gonna fold here. Sometimes we can 4-bet if he's opening really wide and also if he's free betting really wide and also folding to a 4-bet. But this is not the case. So we're gonna respect his raise and just fold. And when the fish is out, we're gonna try to find a new table. This one does not look very profitable right now. Let's see if this one is a little better. So it's not much better because they're all regulars here, but at least it's a full table. So here against the regular, we're gonna throw one continuation bet. Hope to take it down. The board is not scary at all. On this turn, we're gonna give up probably. Oh, actually, the fish rebuy. So we're gonna remove this table that we added, and we're gonna stay on this one. He posted the blind straight away, so we're gonna isolate him straight away with any reasonable holding, especially in the position. And let's see, this is not a really good board for us. We can have one continuation bet here, hope to make him fold something if he did not connect at all. And there are also some nice turn cards when we can continue barreling. But I'm not expecting many folds from him. So that's the reason I'm using only third of the pot, so he can just fold if he missed totally. And of course I'm gonna value bet him big when I have a good hand. So let's say the regular is free betting from the blinds. He's using a small blind to free bet 10% of time, and he folded one instance before. So that's the reason I'm trying to 4-bet him here with our ace 10 and hopefully get him to fold or play in position against him. If he shoves, I will just release here. It's also ace 10 is also good enough just to call, but if I think I can get him to fold enough of the times, I can just 4-bet here. But to do this profitably, you need to know your player. You cannot improvise this. You need to know exactly how much is he free betting and how much is he folding to a 4-bet. For this, you need to know how to use your HUD and also how to read all the stats. Let's see about this guy. His opening button 39% of the time, but he is folding 67% of the time. So that's the reason I'm gonna to 4-bet this hand here. And if he calls or if he 4-bets, I know that he's really strong here. He is not messing around a lot. But when he folds, it's obviously a great outcome. And if he folded, for example, not 69% of the time, but let's say 35% of the time, I would never do this because it will not be very profitable. And of course, if he is also 4-betting a lot, that will also not be profitable. So these plays are based on the exact opponent I'm playing against, not on some general guidelines that are usually not good for all players. So let's see, this guy is limping, so we're gonna isolate him really wide here. He plays 14, so he's some like semi-fish. He's probably limping weak hands here, like maybe ace deuce or jack 9 or something like that. And he folded. If I had any reasonable here, I would just isolate him again. And here I'm gonna raise my ace jack against the weaker opponent that is limping UTG, and also some bad regular also limping on the button. I'm expecting bad regular to have small pocket pairs, and this guy can have a random ace or anything else. Here we're gonna stack off with our jack 8 against his jack high, and we're gonna bet this small pot and hope to make him rebuy again. I'm gonna sit out until I see if the fish is gonna rebuy. If he doesn't, I will just change the table and try to make more money on some table with more fish, or at least all guys sitting in. These two guys were sit out before. So let's see how much is this guy folding to a free bet. He's folding 71% of time. So this is a really profitable free bet here. Ace deuce suited is usually not really good enough, not a good enough hand to free bet from the cutoff. But against the guy who is folding so much, I think it's good enough. But when this guy cold calls and this guy shoves, I have to release my ace deuce. So now we have some info on this guy. What is he shoving? So he's shoving obviously with the strong holdings. He's not doing this light. He shoved a few times before. And he likes to play his strong holdings strong, so he just shoves straight away. So we are not gonna call him light when he shoves. Here with our pair of kings, we're gonna make a free bet here. And the fish rebought here, so that's great. The semi-fish call us, and this is obviously a great board for us. We are stacking on of this board. We're gonna have one small continuation bet here to make him whole or re-raise with the weak holdings. So like you see, I have a lot of info on most of the players playing here. I would suggest you always pay attention, do not play in the autopilot mode, like stay focused and see all player tendencies on all tables we are playing at this moment. So, for example, I know this player is not 4-betting. He did not 4-bet one time for now. So I know I can isolate him with ace-10 and play against him in position. So actually this time he 4-bets, but it's a super small one. So I still have to call with my ace-10. Okay, it is getting super weird. So he's betting one blind after 4-betting before the flop. I have to call with my ace high and the jack got shot. I hope he doesn't shove here. It will be a terrible situation. Oh, he makes one more super small bet. I don't think there is much value here in raising, so I'll just call again. But if he makes a super small bet on the river also, I would just have to call. So we are here bluff catching. We have only a weak ace here. But I think against him, who already lost like 3 stacks, we have to call him here. So he was value betting with his queens. So his super small bets on flop and turn were please call me bets. So we have this info for a future. Here I would free bet usually, but this guy opened only 4% of hands for now, so I expect him to have some stronger holdings, and I don't have enough info on him because we did not play enough together. That's the reason I'm only calling 9-10 suited here. So I don't know what to think about this. This is probably some ace high. So we're gonna try to take him off his ace high. We're gonna raise him on the flop, raise him on the turn, and raise him on the river, and hope to take him off his ace high, because that's what I expect him to have. But when the river is ace, we just have to fold here. If it was any other river, I would just shove the river myself. But obviously this is a terrible river for us. So all tables we have are pretty good. We have a weak opponent on all the tables. Here we have the guy 58, here we have a guy 78, 79, 18, here we have a guy 56, 6, and here we have a guy 76, 28. So it's always important to have a good table where we have a guy who is recreational player, where we can extract a lot of value against him. And when we are playing in a table against only tough regulars, we are probably not making enough edge on him so we can make enough money. When there's only one overcard, we're gonna have one small continuation bet here. He snap calls, so he can have some draws. He can have a 10, but I think we can still have one value bet here. If he calls or raises, I will just release here. But obviously it's a good outcome to take the pot down with our pair of eights. So let's see about this guy. He also did not 4-bet before, and we have a good enough holding to isolate him and play in position against him. So we're gonna try to remove the regs from the blinds. They will not come along with some weaker holdings. And he is not folding enough to make continuation bet in the free bet pots. But we have only 2 instances here. So we're just gonna probably check back here if he does not lead. Now we have an up and down straight draw. We also have our ace high. so we don't have to bluff a lot, only maybe against the hand like ace queen or ace king. But obviously with our up and down straight draw we are calling here, and we're gonna decide should we turn our hand into bluff here. I think we still have some showdown values, so we're gonna check back here and hope to take the pot down. And that's exactly what happened. Let's see what was his hand. He probably had some king high. Yeah, he had a king jack. So he was waiting for a gut shot here. And it was great outcome. So we are super happy here to flop our quad aces, but he cannot have anything here. So I just went for a bet here in case he wants to call us with some weak pairings, pairing he has in his hand. But it was a funny one. It's always nice to flop quad aces. This guy did not squeeze once, and king queen offsuit is not good enough to call, even in position. So we're gonna release here. I think we can wrap up the session. It's already 26 minutes long. Let's see how the session went. So we are winning $18 for 665 scans played. We are a lot of under EV. The EV says $53, but it's still fine. So I'm gonna make set out on the next big blind. That's the thing you should always do, because you have some free hands until you come to the big blind. So there's no reason to fold free hands. And always sit out when you reach the big blind, so you do not have to pay the big blind. It seems like a small amount, but it adds up on the many hands played. Here we are on the big blind next hand, so we are sitting out now. And on this free tables we still have few hands. Here we can make a squeeze against the cutoff, so he's folding 58% of time to the squeeze. But unfortunately we are not hoping the fish will fold a lot, but still with our ace high we are many times good against the fish. And when we flop a world on this flop, of course we're gonna value bet here. I'm going small because he's short, so I can maybe make him shove some weaker hands. And when we have the absolute nuts on the turn, we're gonna value bet here and hope to make him pay with some weaker holding. So he has 30 more cents. It was my mistake. I should bet all on the turn. And he had a pair of sevens, so just like I was telling you before, this guy is calling a lot, so when I have a stronger hand, I'm just gonna value bet big against him all the time. And here we have a few more free hands, actually only one more because this guy sit out. So we are finishing the session here. And let's see, here we're gonna have maybe 2 more hands. That should be it for today. I hope it was interesting for you. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you saw some interesting hands. If you have any questions, I'm gonna get to you as soon as possible. Leave a comment and I will try to reply as soon as I can. And see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.